All right, you ready?
Yes, sir.
3, 2. Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofect one, AJ. Joining me, as always, man with the number, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond. All hail the king of the links, the money train, Noah. How you doing today, bub?
Dude, I'm doing great. Crazy news this afternoon. Of course, we'll get to that in just a moment. Michigan got to be dominating the news headlines for all the wrong reasons, just like they
All of
usually
them.
do.
All of them.
But yeah, no, I'm doing good. Week's over, halfway done, and looking forward to this weekend. What about yourself? How you doing?
Dude, I'm doing good. As you know, like my wife and I, we bought a house. We just moved in and everything. And I am so like just slowly turning into that suburban dad. And I don't even have a kid yet. Like, bro, like I was stoked to go to Costco after work yesterday and just get like everything we needed. Cause like, bro, we were running low on paper towels. And let me tell you, brother, when the house is running low on paper towels, that's when you got to start panicking. Okay. And so we got the paper towels. Paper towels were secured. But I'll tell you, there's nothing that could happen to me right now that's not worse than what's going on to Sharon Moore. Like now, Noah. Let's just jump right into it as it is being reported and confirmed and has happened now that Sharon Moore has been fired from Michigan for conduct detrimental to the organization, as he did not allegedly. He had inappropriate relations with a staffer who is alleged to be essentially this assistant to the head coach. Which, yeah, the jokes write themselves there. Shout out Dwight Schrute. But yeah, and then going from that, getting arrested, and now just a lot going on with Michigan. Detained. Sorry, not arrested. Detained. My bad, Noah. But
Yeah.
me and legal terms don't work that well. Which is why I have smart friend. Anyway, but Sharon Moore, obviously, we're a sports show more than anything. And so Michigan now late in the process of this head coaching carousel, not having a head coach. Signing day has come and went. When they hire another head coach, another transfer portal window is going to open up for those players. So, I mean, just from the sports aspect of it, Noah, who do you think is going to be a big target that Michigan's going to go after? Because let's be real, they have the money that they need to go ahead and back it up. Being able to fire Moore for cause, not paying a buyout is going to help that out too. And whatever other money was left on his contract, obviously, is back with the school and not tied up anymore. So they have the money to go out there and make a big splashy offer to what's going to end up being a guy who's already a head coach somewhere.
Yeah, I almost for certain, I think they're going to poach somebody's head coach.
Yeah.
I know there's some rumors about a couple assistants maybe that are in the NFL right now, but I don't really see that. And I think if you're Michigan too, especially one of those being the Chargers, I think defensive coordinator who was on Harbaugh's staff at Michigan. But at this point, I think if you're Michigan, you kind of want to distance yourself from anybody even slightly related to Jim Harbaugh's staff, because it's been nothing but problems from Jim Harbaugh and his staff. Obviously, Sharon Moore being a big part of that, and then getting the nod at the promotion. No, I think it's crazy too. A job like Michigan, I think there's maybe only about 15-ish coaches that they won't be able to get if they really want them. And so the door is going to be wide open. It's going to cause much like Nick Saban retiring really late.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not even quite as late as Nick Saban, but it's going to be the same type of trickle effect, right? Because most teams have already landed on their head coach. Michigan's going to go pluck one from a Power 4 school, most likely. I think Jedd Fisch is a name that'll probably be at the top of that list. I know you've alluded to Dillingham. I don't know that that's going to happen.
The more I think about it, Noah, and honestly, I've just been spewing that all over the internet because it gets under ASU's like fans' skin, and that's always just fun for me. But no, I know his comments, and he's been adamant about it. And there's other quotes being released that his agent did take calls, but he didn't want to listen to them. And I understand it's schools like Penn State, it's schools like LSU. Maybe he's not wanting to go there, but the Michigan job, it might be a big enough one where it raises eyebrows a little bit. And he's like, all right, maybe we have a dinner, have a lunch or something and see what's going on. But again, I think it's one of the more out there ones, but definitely a name that's going to be on the list. And especially since he doesn't really have, yes, he can go into a full rebuild mode. And if anyone can recruit a team after a bunch of people enter the transfer portal, it's definitely going to be a Dillingham that can go out there and rebuild this ASU team. I'm not worried about him, but this type of job, supposedly comes up once in your career. And I don't know if it might be a big enough job to pull him away.
Yeah, that's assuming Dillingham's one on the list, which I don't think he is. I do think it's going to be a short list that Michigan's after, but I think Jedd Fisch is a name. Manny Diaz from Duke.
Yeah.
Probably, wouldn't surprise me if he gets a look. You got the potential of Michigan trying to steal Kalen DeBoer away, but I don't know that I see that happening. I know DeBoer was kind of linked to the Penn State opening a little bit.
Yeah.
He shut that down pretty quick. Now Michigan is I would say a step above Penn State, or at least a half step above where Penn State is. But is it an upgrade from Alabama? I mean, you're probably going to get a little bit easier of a conference schedule and a potentially slightly easier path to the playoff, but obviously Bama in regardless this year anyways. And, does DeBoer really want to leave Tuscaloosa? I don't see it happening, but it's one where I'm not going to completely shut that down. Like I said, I think there's about 15 coaches, give or take, that are probably untouchable. DeBoer is that one coach that's like right on the bubble. Like, I don't really know if he is untouchable for a program like Michigan, but I would be very surprised if DeBoer left Alabama for Michigan.
I would be too.
Yeah, and then just going through like the other power conference coaches, I think there's a good chance Michigan maybe steals. I mentioned Jedd Fisch already in the Big Ten, but they might be looking at some of the more successful Big 12, maybe some ACC teams. I mean, I mentioned Manny Diaz. Kalani Sitake is an interesting one.
That won't happen anymore.
But I think Kalani Sitake is very much loyal and tied to that BYU program, and it won't be going anywhere else, even if Michigan comes calling. So that, that's obviously interesting, but I don't think it's a huge long list. However, it is going to create that trickle effect where if Michigan goes and gets, say Jedd Fisch or Manny Diaz, Duke opening is not as desirable as like if Washington reopens up.
Yeah.
Washington's just going to go probably pluck another Power 4 coach like they did when DeBoer left. And then that's going to leave another Power 4 team that's going to probably steal one from an unsuspecting Group of 5 team. And it's just going to be a, 3 to 5 team trickle effect.
Yeah.
When it does happen. And I think that's probably most likely, but we'll see who Michigan goes after. I got to imagine they're going to have one of their top 2 or 3 picks. They might take an aggressive swing or two and get shut down, but eventually they're going to get, they'll get somebody they want.
Oh, for sure. If there's one school that's going to still have a solid head coach next year, that's going to still have somewhat of a good recruiting class, it's going to be Michigan. I'm not too worried about them and them opening up those pocketbooks.
Yeah, timing-wise, I got to imagine they're going to move quickly on this before that transfer portal window opens, because that's going to be huge. It's going to be a two-headed monster for whoever takes over that Michigan program. It's going to be retaining the talent that they have, like how good of a job they can do at keeping guys in Ann Arbor, and then what they can do in the transfer portal.
Exactly.
And
it's going to...
Obviously, this all just happened this afternoon, so we haven't seen any impact to the recruiting class. Signing day already happened. However, I do believe with the separation of coach, that does reopen.
Yeah, once they hire a new head coach, it opens a new 15-day window.
But that being said, signing day also did fucking happen for every other school. And so there's a lot of schools where if you hit your 25, you don't have roster spots for incoming freshmen. And so there might be some really talented guys out there who are like, oh, okay, so either I stick with Michigan or my options are kind of limited.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting story that's going to develop. I assume that as early as tomorrow, we're going to start hearing names of who Michigan's talking to, who Michigan's reaching out to, and like you said, they're going to move fast here, and I would not be shocked if we don't see something done or near done towards the beginning of the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, it might bleed a little bit into the college football playoff,
maybe,
too.
but
especially if they think they have a legitimate chance at Kalen DeBoer, those conversations might start. And if Bama gets knocked out by Oklahoma in the first round,
pick up real quick, yeah,
then that could be a deciding factor there. Yeah, who knows? I mean, they could look at Venables at Oklahoma as well, but I think he's probably pretty solidified with Oklahoma. I don't really see that movement happening. But again, we're going to have to wait over the next, I don't know, week or two and see how things unfold, what's happening with decommitments or Michigan guys entering their name in the transfer portal versus then the next step is who they can get in.
Yep. No, yeah, it'll be a good one to follow and another solid storyline for college football, staying in the news headlines. Not the best way they probably wanted to do it, but does open up interesting stuff for Michigan and the rest of college football that has been just in utter chaos the last 2 years, and I've been loving it. But anyway, Noah.
Speaking of college football, we got a big long slate this week.
Yes, huge. Huge, absolutely huge. No, I'm glad you brought that up. And it does give me an opportunity to bring up our Bowl Bonanza that will be happening tomorrow night, where we pick every single bowl game. Every single bowl game will be picked, not including the college football playoff. We will save that for the weeks to come. But let's go ahead and dive into the huge slate we have this weekend, Noah. Army, Navy. You gotta love it. One of the best rivalries in college football. And a game that has always just been, good old American fun. Absolutely love it. Navy is 6-point favorites here. 38.5 is the total. 66% of the bets, 95% of the money coming in on Navy. And now the lines are differing here a little bit. Some places having this at 6.5, some places having this at 3.5, as we're still a couple of days out. But it doesn't seem to matter where it is. The public on Navy there, minus the 6. And Noah, with the season Navy has put together, being this consistent squad, continuing to, I would say, outperform expectations, from what we usually expect from an academy school. They've been impressive. They've ran their offense. They've ran their defense. They've been disciplined, and they've been able to put up a lot of points this season, which is not something you usually say by a Navy about a Navy squad. Army has been Army. In my opinion, it hasn't been anything flashy, anything too great. I'm going Navy here, minus the 6. I think they go ahead and get this one done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care where the line's at, where you're looking at it. They're all under a touchdown. Feels like maybe kind of a trap game, but Navy by under a touchdown. I think Navy covers a touchdown, no problem in this rendition of Army Navy this year. So
hell yeah.
I might even alt spread that higher to like 13.5 or something. I think Navy's going to completely control this game, but you never know. Army Navy's always a fun time, always interesting. And
now,
past record would tell you bet the under.
I was about to ask 38.5. It is, an armed forces game here. I'm leaning under 2. I mean, I feel like even if this is, because, it is a rivalry game at the end of the day. This could be a close one. It's going to be a dragged out fight. That's a one on the back of defense and running, a couple of big pass plays. But, yeah, I mean, 38.5.
I'm going 24-3 Navy. That's my score.
Ooh, okay.
Not a close game. Under still hits.
I'm going to go 21-2 just to be different. I think Army gets a safety. That'd be the most Army thing ever. But sweet. Before we get into NFL Week 15, Noah, do you just want to take a moment? Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best if you like what we're cooking. Please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help out a lot more than you know. NFL Week 15, Noah, excuse me. It is unbelievable. There's only 4 weeks left in the season. Absolutely unbelievable, heartbreaking. I know we get to, playoffs and everything like that, but still, I can't believe, where is the season gone? where is the season gone? But
yeah, no, it's gone by crazy fast. It feels like.
yeah.
One last thing, AJ, before we do get into the NFL slate, just want to get your thoughts real quick. FCS tournament going on. We've got the quarterfinals this weekend, 8 teams remaining. Got 4 games this weekend. Any thoughts? Who do you have winning? Who do you have? What's your championship matchup looking like here?
Well, Noah, thanks for putting me on the spot. I haven't looked into this much. But Montana State, Stephen F. Austin. I would be leaning Montana State here with the season they've been having. I like Tarleton against Villanova. They are doing $1 beer and $1 hot dog night for this playoff game. And that's the kind of school that I want to be associated with. So give me Tarleton State for that reason and that reason alone. Give me Montana too, because I think I get Montana State and Montana mixed up a lot. So I'm just going to go ahead and double dip and take the Montana team.
I mean, they're both ranked in the top 3, so
exactly. And then give me Illinois State over UC Davis. They had a crazy upset win last week, didn't they? Or am I thinking of a different Illinois State?
No, they did. They knocked off North Dakota State by 1 point, winning 29-28. North Dakota State, as they are most years, the number 1 team in FCS. But
you go ahead and knock off North Dakota State for me. You go ahead to make it through to the semifinals over UC Davis. What are your thoughts, Noah?
Yeah, I got all 4 of the same picks here with the games this weekend. I love both the Montana teams. I just don't think that Villanova is going to have enough to get past Tarleton, and I'm rooting for and think Illinois State's going to keep the Cinderella run, if you will, going.
Hell yeah!
They're knocking off number 16 Southeast Louisiana, and then North Dakota State won 21-3 against Southeast Louisiana, and then the 1-point win over North Dakota State. I think if they keep playing the way that they do, they won't have any issue with UC Davis. It'll set up a semifinal matchup against Tarleton State or Villanova, depending on who wins. I think they could potentially win that too. And then the game that is probably going to be the best game of this playoffs, although Illinois State, North Dakota might have been, but Montana State, you got the Grizz and the Bobcats going up at it in the semifinal. That's going to be a really tough one. I don't know. I don't know who wins that, but I'm riding with Cinderella. I'm all about the glass slippers here. We're going to go Illinois State against Montana in the championship. Montana gets it done, gets a FCS championship. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, go Grizz. Congratulations, Montana, on your FCS championship, according to the money train. But sweet, dude, let's go ahead and get into the NFL. Let's start Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thursday night football. Buccaneers 4.5-point favorites here. 44.5 is the total. 64% of the bets, 37% of the money coming in on the Buccaneers. So public money coming in on the Falcons. 89% of the bets, 94% of the money coming in on Buccaneers money line here. And Noah, I get it. I get what that game was on Sunday with the Buccaneers and what we watched and how they fell and everything like that. I completely understand. The Saints, again, have been scrappy all season. Buccaneers playing injured. They got Bucky Irving back this week. They're getting Mike Evans back this week. And let's be real. Baker Mayfield is probably going to do everything in his power to make sure Mike Evans continues to have his 1,000-yard streak going into the last 4 games.
Does he even have a chance at that? Like, what's he got to have?
No, he has absolutely no chance whatsoever, but I still think Mike Evans is going to get fed the ball ridiculously when he comes back, and that opens up Emeka Egbuka again. Don't look at the stat, no. I was making more of a joke than anything.
He's missed quite a lot of games, so I was just going to look up how many yards, because if he's got like 400 yards, which I don't think he does, I was going to say, okay, yeah, 150 a game is a big stretch, but could happen.
Yeah, he's got 140 yards this year.
Yeah, 1,000 probably not happening, unless he's going to have about an average of 230 yards a game.
No. Anyway, though.
They need him back bad, though. Yeah. I mean, they got Godwin back, and he's been playing all right. But Egbuka, I don't know what the fuck happened after about I mean, he was a top five, borderline top five receiver for the first 5-6 weeks of the season with these guys out, and then just kind of fell off a cliff lately. And
yeah, I think it has to do with defenses, being able to pay more attention to him with Mike Evans being out and with Chris Godwin being out. I know Chris Godwin
has been out for like a good portion of the season, and Ibuka was lighting it up the first 5-6 weeks, and then all of a sudden just stopped.
Yeah, I don't know. More tape out on the rookie and everything like that. I don't blame as much of it as on Ibuka as I do of, just kind of where he was at with everyone being out and, more tape coming out on him. They have more time to focus on him. Who knows? But the
bottom line is no more excuses for Tampa Bay. You're going to have all your damn receiving core back.
Yes. And then the big question is
back room. So
yeah, but then the big question still remains: how's Baker's shoulder? How much of an impact does that have on how he's playing? Because I don't know. It kind of seemed like it had an impact on Sunday. However, the Falcons just suck, dude. They're ass, dude. This is a bad team. Give me the Buccaneers minus the 4.5 on Thursday Night Football at home.
I'm with you there, brother. Yeah, the Falcons are just so bad that the Bucs playing at home, catching 4.5. I'm okay with it. We'll ride.
Yeah, and understand why the money's where it's at, but not going to be one of those ones where you're catching the book with their pants down, I don't think. Keeping it moving, Noah. Browns, Bears, 7.5 point favorites at home. 38.5 is the total. The public, 52% of the bet, 62% of the money coming in on the Browns behind the Shedeur Sanders hype coming off of their last loss against the Titans and the Bears' loss against the Packers. However, these teams are in two very different spots, and the Bears are very good at beating down bad teams, and that's what the Browns are. Give me the Bears and Ben Johnson figuring something out minus 7.5.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, the Bears like to make all of their wins this season really close and down to the wire, and so I'm cool with taking the Bears to win, but 7.5, I'm gonna take Cleveland actually. I think Judkins is going to have a plenty fine game. I think Shedeur, if he continues what he's been doing in his starts, if he takes care of the football, it can be enough to keep the Browns in this game. The Browns do have a really good defense. I think that gets lost just because this team is kind of dysfunctional as a whole. Myles Garrett could have a lot of sacks in this game.
He could have a fair amount of sacks this game.
Yeah, my fantasy season is done. It's in the books. So I'm not really worried about what Caleb Williams does here. I think I'm playing in the 10th place game or whatever the fuck it is in a 12-team league. So I don't really care. But I think Caleb Williams might struggle in this game. Didn't have a particularly great game against the Packers. The Bears ran the ball very well. The Browns are a really good defensive front that I think will slow down the Bears' run game, and I don't think Caleb Williams is going to have a great game. I like the Browns to keep this close, but at the end of the day, I do think the Bears come out with the victory.
All right, we'll see what happens there. Let's keep it moving. Ravens, Bengals, Ravens. 2.5 point favorites on the road here. 52.5 is the total, minus 135 on the money line. 74% of the bets, 68% of the money coming in on the Bengals at home. 53% of the bets, 69% of the money coming in on Bengals money line as well. Interesting game because I think it's very evident. Joe Burrow is back. Joe Burrow is him, and this entire Bengals team feels like it got a jolt of energy with Burrow being back, feeling like they have their true leader back.
T. Higgins back out again, though.
T. Higgins is back out again. That does suck. Still, I give a little bit of a lean here to the Bengals plus the 2.5. I don't trust this Baltimore team to win. I get they're 6-7. I get they figured it out. I get this Bengals offense is ass, but the Bengals defense is ass. I just don't see it with the Ravens, and I hate being with the public as heavy as it is on an underdog, but I am going to ride with the Bengals plus the 2.5 here. and just vibes with Joe Burrow, just pure vibes, good energy coming out of the Bengals. And I think it's enough to this Baltimore team almost feels defeated. I hate to say that, but it almost feels just like they're done with the season. They don't, they're 6-7. They're not going places. It's a tough place to be in Baltimore right now. And I know it's hard to say they're not going places because it's a close race, but I don't know. I have a lot more faith in the Steelers right now than I do the Ravens.
Yeah, that's crazy because I don't really have any faith in the Steelers either. Not that I'm saying the Ravens are doing anything spectacular, but I do like the Ravens to win this game, to cover the spread. Go back to the game that they just played a couple weeks ago. I don't think Cincinnati's defense has the stellar performance that they did.
Okay.
And I feel like this is going to be a game where Lamar just goes out and lights up this Cincinnati defense. And I believe Hendrickson might be out too. Something of note there. No Hendrickson, I believe. No T. Higgins. I think it's just going to be too much. And I think the Bengals... I think we can finally close the book on the Bengals season after a loss to Baltimore this week.
Oh, Trey Hendrickson is definitely out. He had surgery on his core muscle.
He's out the rest of the season, right?
Yeah, he's done. So. Give me the Ravens minus the 2.5. I did not realize. I honestly, I knew about T. I didn't realize Trey was out for that long. I missed that report completely.
I think the Bengals offense will make it a game, but at the end of the day, I think Baltimore.
Oh, give me the over. 51.5. I'll take the over on that.
I do think Baltimore is going to even the score, though, get back to 500, keep a little bit of pace with the Steelers. Unfortunately for them, the Steelers, even if Baltimore beats them later on in the season, they do play one more time. Steelers, I believe, still as of now have that tiebreaker if the head-to-head goes even. So Baltimore maybe going to need a little help, but the Steelers have a tough schedule. They have a tough schedule. It's going to be a real shitty, interesting closing to who wins this division because I don't know. You figure one of the two of them is going to need to steal a win over a superior opponent to win this division. Otherwise, we're just going to have the Steelers winning a tiebreaker at 8-9 or 7-10 or some shit like probably not 7-10, but 8-9 probably. And this could be a year where we see a team with a losing record in the playoffs, and if it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Baltimore or Pittsburgh.
Oh man! And again, that's Tomlin's just his wet dream to have a losing season or just an average season.
No. Tomlin's going to find a way to go 9-8. He's going to find a fucking.
He's going to find a way. He's going to find a way.
Got to get
taxes
down the stretch, and I do think 9-8 is going to be enough of a mark to win this division.
It feels like it.
I don't see the Ravens winning 10 games. I don't see them winning out. So if the Steelers go 2-2, that puts them at 9-8. They have tiebreaker over the Ravens. I think
they're chilling. I would agree. We'll get to the Steelers in a moment, Noah. Let's go to Kansas City, though, where things are getting in dire straits.
Yep.
Dire straits. Thank you, Noah. Dire straits for the Chiefs, but you got the Chargers knocking on the door of the Broncos in a week that could end up being a very good week for the Chargers and jumping up and, working their way towards that number one spot in the division. But Chargers coming into this one, 5.5-point dogs on the road, 41.5 is the total, plus 190 on the money line. Noah.
Interesting note with where the odds are sitting right now. Chargers at 11-1 to win or to get the 1 seed in the AFC.
Ooh.
Maybe it's to win the AFC, not the 1 seed, but that's probably more likely. But they're not really that much behind Denver with the odds to win this division. They both have a head-to-head. They both play the Chiefs. Denver's got the Packers coming up this week. The Chargers do have the easier schedule, and the Chargers are odds-wise chomping on the heels of Denver despite being 2 games back from them.
Yeah.
Just an interesting little note there, and I think it's for good reason. Like I said, the Chargers have an easier schedule. Denver, I don't think anybody's fooled by Denver. I don't think anybody legitimately thinks Denver is like a top 3 team in the AFC, especially not a top 2 team. They just continue to they've had a weak schedule and they continue to win games by less than a touchdown. So, I mean, shout out to them for winning, I guess, but I don't think anybody really thinks Denver's going anywhere.
No.
Chargers, on the other hand, just got a win over the Eagles in probably the sloppiest football game I've seen this season out of the NFL.
Oh, for sure.
Just crazy work. Combined 8 turnovers in that between the two teams. They win the turnover battle 5-3, which was enough to win in overtime. Crazy to me that Kansas City's favored by 5.5 in this one. They've got, I believe it was 12% chance at the playoffs after they lost. And then after the Chargers won, that dipped below 10% chance. The Chiefs have to win out. If they lose this one, I think they're mathematically eliminated or close to it.
For sure.
I don't know if the Chargers will win, but I do actually think the Chargers right now are the better team. If they can take care of the ball a little bit better on offense, obviously having Omarion Hampton back is going to be a big boost for him. Vidal also still productive in Hampton's return, especially as a pass catcher. Chiefs have a really good defense, but a couple turnovers and Chargers could easily win this game. So 5.5 I think is way too high of a spread. I don't have a huge problem with Kansas City being favored, but I would have thought it was by like 1.5 or 2 points is probably where I would have put it at. So,
yeah. Wow. Sorry. No. Breaking coming out of the Sharon Moore. Holy shit. Breaking news coming out of the Sharon Moore stuff. It is being reported by multiple sources now that Sharon Moore is in protective custody, threatened to kill him, kill himself to his wife, left his house, went to that staffer he had an affair with, held a knife to his own throat, and said he was going to kill himself and her as well. So yeah, T's and P's to everyone involved. Obviously not a good scene in Ann Arbor right now, and hopefully Sharon gets the help he needs, and everyone's okay. That is
wild shit. Probably explains why he was detained.
That does make a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense, but wild.
If he's a threat to others and himself.
So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this story as we keep moving, but crazy stuff. Anyway. I'm on the Chargers plus 5.5 too. I think they're the better team. I'm on the money line as well. I'm going to sprinkle that. I think this is going to be a very big weekend in the division for the AFC West, Noah, and we'll get to why.
It's going to be huge for everybody other than the Las Vegas Raiders, who
the who are they still playing football?
Yeah, are they still in competition for the number 1 seed? I mean, the number 1 pick.
2-11. Yeah, they're very much in the argument, Noah.
Titans just got to win. They're on the short end of the tiebreakers, though, as New York is now the New York Football Giants are now sitting in the number 1 overall pick with Tennessee's win over Cleveland.
Whew. All right. We'll keep an eye on that as well as in my Arizona Cardinals with that. But let's keep it moving, Noah. Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots. 1.5 point dogs at home. 50.5 is the total, minus 102 on the money line. 66% of the bets, 55% of the money coming in on the Patriots. 43% of the bets, 66% of the money coming in on the Bills Mafia money line, Noah. This doesn't this feel like the Patriots' first real kind of test this season?
Well, they've had the easiest schedule in the NFL this year.
That's right, yeah,
and will continue to. I don't remember if I texted you, but I was looking at this earlier this week, and I was like, Cardinals have had the second toughest schedule in the league this year.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. You sent me that. Thank you for reminding me. Doesn't make me feel any better, but thank you for reminding me.
It should make you feel like at least you're a 5 or 6 win team. Not a playoff team, but maybe.
No, it doesn't make me feel any better.
But on the flip side,
we don't have a quarterback.
Patriots and Broncos, top 2 teams in the AFC, are Patriots have the easiest schedule. Broncos have the 3rd easiest schedule in the league so far this year. Coming into this one, I was like, okay, Buffalo's going to even the score. I was like, they're going to even the score, like, and Patriots probably win the rest of their game. It's fine, whatever. The way New England's been playing, though, I can't pass up taking them on the money line as dogs here and handing Buffalo another loss because everything just looks fluid and sound with this Patriots team.
Yeah.
I mean, Vrabel's got the defense playing really great. Granted, they've been playing like the bottom half of the league for almost the entire season, but the defense has looked really good. Drake May is just playing incredible football, and Vrabel's got this team humming. I don't see a reason why they don't beat Buffalo. And again, this game could go either way. It's going to depend what Buffalo we see, but as good as Josh Allen is, like Buffalo as a team is not always playing complete games. New England,
yeah,
you can say what you want about their strength of schedule, but almost every week they come out and they play a complete game.
For sure.
In all three phases of the game. And so I think they do that again. I think, and it's no surprise with Mike Vrabel, right? Like this guy's going to have your team playing disciplined football, not making stupid mistakes, not doing dumb shit to lose games. That's how Mike Vrabel's always been. You look at the rosters he had some years with Tennessee and still had them in the playoffs almost every year, had them winning that division, got them the 1 seed one year with, for a big portion of it, Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. And yeah, there's something special happening in New England right now with that team, with Drake May. And so I think they knock off Buffalo a second time this season.
I'm with you, bud. I think they're this... they got their guy. They're right back where they left off, and it's incredible how fast a good disciplined coach can turn around, what was a pretty solid roster last year, but really turn, mold it into his own design and everything. Unbelievable job by Vrabel. He should probably be a coach of the year, in my opinion.
I'd be surprised if he's not at this point.
I would be too, but you never know.
I mean, the way he's just flipped that team, and again, say whatever you want about strength of schedule, but
still,
they're winning all the games.
Yeah, and by a good portion. But let's keep it moving. No, we got a game that I don't think will make the quad box this weekend. I think I got to announce the first game that's probably not making the quad box. Commanders, Giants. Giants, 2.5-point favorites at home. 47.5 is the total, minus 142 on the money line. Jaden Daniels will be out for this game, dealing with another left elbow injury. Marcus Mariota will be in this one, Noah. God, a 3-10 team, a 2-11 team, two teams that are, playing for draft picks and playing for pride. And God, I hate this game. I'm going to take the Giants minus the 2.5 at home. I don't like it. But I just, whenever I watch this Commanders team, the Giants at least look like a team. This Commanders team looks so disjointed, so dysfunctional, and just not on the same page. And that's what's killing me right now. So I'm going to go Giants on the money line. Giants minus the 2.5 on the back of Jackson Dart just being an absolute dog.
I think, like I just said, the Giants sitting in that number 1 overall pick position right now. I don't think it's going to be long-winded. I think they're going to take care of business against Washington. Yeah, I don't know. This game feels like a stinker, but I do feel like the Giants go ahead and win this one at a 2.5-point spread. I'll take them to cover a field goal, I guess. And Tennessee will be, despite their win last week, right back in that number 1 draft pick territory.
Yeah, I like that.
I actually got a weird feeling the Giants might go like 3-4 down the stretch to end the season, just because their schedule allows for it, and I could see them just catching a little bit of fire. It feels like they've been in a lot of games that they've lost.
Yeah, no, it does. It really does. I think they're gonna have a good crack at it. Next game on the slate, Noah, Raiders, Eagles. 11.5-point favorites at home. 38.5 is the total, minus 675 on the money line, Noah. 52% of the bet, 73% of the money on Raiders money. Raiders plus the 11.5 here, but everyone and their mom on Eagles on the money line here. You and I both agree this is not a good Eagles team, right, Noah? there's a lot of issues with this Eagles team. Probably most of them start with Jalen Hurts.
We've been saying that for a number of weeks.
Yeah, we have, Noah. We've been saying it for a long time.
It's not a new development.
No, it's not. And then you get one of these games in front of your face after the Eagles coming off of a short week, overtime game on Monday Night Football, lose in a heartbreaking fashion to the Chargers off of multiple interceptions from Jalen Hurts.
And a fumble. And a fumble.
And a fumble, and an interception, and a fumble in the same play. Let's not forget that. That was unbelievable. But
shout out if you had him on your fantasy team, 0.4 fantasy points.
Lost you 4 points on that play alone. Unbelievable.
Yeah, real good game by Jalen Hurts there.
But there's also, like the story of, a lamb being led to slaughter and the sacrificial lamb and everything like that. And I really think this is kind of what the Raiders' position is going to be this week. Give me the Eagles minus the 11.5, coming in pissed off, coming in angry. And, listen, the media has been given, more than enough bulletin board material. And so I'm sure Sirianni will be able to do that. And the Eagles will stomp on the Raiders. And I've been taking the Raiders. Raiders have been great covering. They've been keeping it in there against some of these better teams. And it does seem like a good spot for the Raiders, but I don't think the Raiders got it this week. Give me the Eagles at home.
Yeah, the whole city of Philly is going to burn to the ground if the Raiders go into the Link and win. And there's going to be some minor fire damage if the Raiders go in and cover. I just don't see it happening. I think for at least one game here, the Eagles are going to wisen up. And I don't know why, it worked so great last year. Just hand the ball off to Saquon, let him dominate. Don't force Jalen Hurts into too many passing situations. And what have we done all season this year, Nick Sirianni? Force Jalen Hurts into passing situations, give Saquon the ball about 12, 13 times a game. Makes no fucking sense. I don't understand what changed and why. Like, you've got a completely good working recipe. You come off a Super Bowl win, and you're like, you know what? Let's change up how we're running this offense.
Yeah, I agree. It's dumb.
Blows my mind, but I think Saquon's going to go for about 200 yards in this game against the Raiders defense. I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to be asked to do too much, and I think Philly clears that 11.5 just fine.
Just fine, Noah. Let's keep it moving. Jets, Jaguars down there in Duval, 13.5 point favorites. 41.5 is the total. Minus 850 on the money line. 56% of the bet. 73% of the money coming in on the Jaguars. Interesting line too. Some books have it at 13.5. Some books have it at 4.5. What book possibly still has this at 4.5?
I don't know, but I gotta find that book and take that.
Holy shit. Give me 2 seconds. What book would that be? Nope. The website just hasn't updated it. All books have this at 13.5, 13. Must be Bob's sports book.
4.5 would be a easy no-brainer bet here, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
You would think. But Noah, Jaguars definitely on the hot streak right now. Jets, and not so much. Justin Fields, I do believe, will be the starting quarterback this week for the Jets. But Trevor Lawrence and the boys have been killing it. I think the Jaguars are going to have no problem covering this one by 2 touchdowns.
I disagree. I think this is just too high of a spread. Jacksonville's been good, but they haven't been like blow my socks off incredible. And this is the NFL.
True.
It's hard to cover that big of a spread. I think the Jets are going to hang in this game enough to cover 13.5. I might buy it up to 14.5. I don't think they win the game. I definitely don't think they win the game, but I think the Jets can do enough to keep this close enough to cover the spread.
Yeah, where you're coming from. Next one on the slate, Noah. I'm going to keep this quick because I saw this game. I've been dreading this game for the last 3 weeks, seeing this on the schedule. So I'm going to make this painless for me. Cardinals, Texans, 9.5 point favorites at home. 42.5 is the total. Minus 575 on the money line. Texans, 63% of the bet, 66% of the money. Mom, baby, granddaughter, your granddaughter's future granddaughter. Everyone is on the Texans money line here. Give me the Texans minus the 9.5. Texans defense alone might score 2 touchdowns on this Cardinals team. CJ Stroud's not going to have to do much. And if the CJ Stroud does have to do a lot, he's going to have a nice time against that Cardinals defense. Give me the Texans minus the 9.5, please. And let's keep improving our draft stock.
Yeah. What's the over under on this one?
42.5.
Yeah, I'd take the under.
I would too.
I do think, the Texans will put up some points, but the big storyline here is I think the Cardinals are going to be hard-pressed to score more than about 10 points in this game.
You think we're scoring 10?
I said they'd be hard-pressed to score more than 10. Yeah, this could be one where the Cardinals go without a touchdown, and it's a 24-3 type of game, some shit like that. I don't love the 9.5, but I am going to take it.
It's an ugly number.
I would have really liked to see this at like 6.5, even 7.5, but we'll ride with the 9.5. It's fine.
If it makes you feel any better, Noah, the Rams had absolutely no problem covering that 9.5. I mean, no problem at all covering the 9.5.
The Rams are also a much more explosive offense than the Texans are.
True.
The Rams also have a top 5 defense. It's not quite to the caliber that the Texans defense has been, in my opinion, but yeah, so we'll see. I expect the Texans will score less than the Rams, but also have an opportunity to hold the Cardinals to less points than the Rams did. So we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I have no faith in this squad whatsoever. I'm not looking forward to football season being over, obviously, but I'm ready for the Cardinals to stop being on TV. Next game on the slate, Noah, let's get into the afternoon. Your Green Bay Packers are going to Mile High. Them Broncos 2.5-point dogs at home. What? I thought they were number 1 in the AFC, Noah, and they're 2.5-point dogs at home.
Number 2 in the AFC behind.
Oh, number 2. Sorry, number 2 in the AFC. 42.5 is the total, plus 114 on the money line. 69% of the bet, 70% of the public is on the Broncos, Noah. They believe in this Broncos team. They believe that this team hasn't had a cupcake schedule. They believe that they haven't won by a slim margin almost every single game. They don't believe that they had to come back in the fourth quarter so many times to win these games. I believe that this team is bad. I believe that this team is really bad. Give me the Packers minus 6.5. I'm going to go ahead and I'll spread this one. Packers belt to ass.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think this is going to be a boring, low-scoring game. Lots of 3-and-outs, lots of punts on both sides of the ball. The big question is going to be whether or not Denver's defense can step it up a little bit, but I do think Bo Nix is going to be having fits against this front for the Packers. I don't really have a lot of faith in Denver's run game.
Did the Broncos play the Cowboys last year?
I don't remember.
Because this would be then the first time that Micah Parsons and Bo Nix get to meet. Wouldn't it be?
Yeah, and I think they'll get plenty well
acquainted. Second time. They 44-24 last year. Broncos won. Anyway.
Well, they'll get reacquainted. I think Bo Nix is going to be on the ground quite a bit. I think he'll be forced into some bad mistakes. If the Packers can capitalize off of that, I think the 2.5-point spread, I think they cover no problem. I'm not going to be as aggressive to up this on an alt spread because I do think this is just going to be an ugly, boring game. If neither team's really turning the ball over much, which the Packers don't generally do, and if they can't force the Broncos into a bunch of turnovers, again, I think we're just going to see a lot of 3-and-outs and a lot of punts.
Yeah.
And that could very well be how this game plays out.
Give me the under as well. I'll take under 42.5.
That's a low under, but
yeah. I know, but that's the more you were talking, that's kind of the more I'm seeing that game play out. I'm liking the under there. Green Bay and the under. Give me the side and total, please. Next game in the afternoon. We got a loaded afternoon slate. No more bye weeks. Detroit, the Lions going up against the Rams. Rams 5.5-point favorites at home. 55.5 is the total, minus 250 on the money line. 72% of the bets, 48% of the money coming in on the Lions on the road here. Everyone, mom, dad, sister, brother has Rams on the money line here. Give me the under 55.5 to start. I don't think this is
Really?
going to go over. Yes, I'm going to take the under 55 here. I know we're dealing with two very explosive offenses here, Noah, but we're also dealing with one defense that's absolute Swiss cheese and one that's a top 5 in the NFL right now. And I think the Rams are going to be able to, halt that running game and disrupt Jared Goff enough so that they can't get the play action off and can't get the ball stretched downfield. What is Amon-Ra's status for this game? Do we know that?
He should be. I mean, he played last week. He should be in.
Yeah, he should be fine, right? I thought he was. I heard something.
They probably slapped the questionable on him again.
Yeah, that's probably all it was. Anyway, even with him back, I mean, yeah, that'll provide some help. I think it's going to be just too much for the Lions with what the Rams defense has to offer. Give me the Rams minus the 5.5 here at home, and give me the under 55.5.
Yeah, I'm crazy that I'm taking a 5.5 line against the Lions, but
I know
this Lions defense has not proven that they can really slow down or stop anybody to any true degree. And if the Rams can slow down Jahmyr Gibbs, you slow down the whole Lions offense, as a couple teams have shown us so far this year, including the Packers twice. And I think, the combination of Kyren Williams and Blake Corum, they're just going to have a heyday. I don't even know if Stafford's going to have that great of a game, as much as people will probably be betting a bunch of his overs just because he's playing his former team in the Lions.
Yeah.
I think he's not going to need to throw the ball that much. And I think, like I said, Kyren Williams and Blake Corum are going to just absolutely run the ball down the Lions' throat all day long.
Yep. I'm there. Go Rams. Next game on the slate, Noah, we got Panthers, Saints. Saints, 2.5-point dogs at home. 40.5 is the total, plus 120 on the money line. 28% of the bets, 69% of the money coming in on Saints to cover that spread. Excuse me, 88% of the 88% of the bets, 91% of the money coming in on Panthers money line minus that 142. Noah, I would concur with you. Give me the Panthers minus 2.5. I know the Saints have been playing tough. Had a nice win against the Buccaneers last week, but again, they're not going to get too many of those here. They got to pick a quarterback in the first round this year. Panthers are running on all cylinders. Noah, it seems like your prediction for them to win their division is, starting to fall into place. And shout out to you for that take. Give me the Panthers minus the 2.5.
Yeah, baby. Not just falling into place. Panthers are winning this goddamn division. I'll say it. I'll scream it from the rooftops. Yeah, they got at the bare minimum split with Tampa Bay. They got 2 games against the Bucs, but the way the Bucs have been playing, I feel better about that. And Carolina have been playing a lot better for the most part. I know the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season, it was like, what the fuck? They come out one week, blow out one team, and then get absolutely blown out by another team. They're just back and forth. I was calling them the Cardiac Panthers, the Cardiac Cats, if you will. And they're kind of rounded into form here. They're rounded into form. Rico Dowdle's been a huge part of that, obviously. And who would have thought, who had it on their bingo card that Chuba Hubbard was going to be losing his starting job to Rico Dowdle at the start of the season?
Seriously. Oh, man. Not me.
But Bryce Young has not been wowing anybody on the box score or on paper. I'll tell you what, though. He has severely cut down on his turnovers, on his bad mistakes. Like the shit that doesn't show up on paper, Bryce Young has made huge leaps this season. His decision-making has been much, much, much better. He's, not making massive detrimental plays. And yeah, he's not going to blow your socks off, and he hasn't done that. And I don't know if he ever will be that guy. Like, he might just have a role in the NFL as a good game manager quarterback, which is what he's been this year. He's been managing games and not been making those detrimental plays to give the other team the upper hand.
Yeah.
And you had a really strong running game that's been headed somehow by Rico Dowdle. And then, Chuba Hubbard's actually had a resurgence the last 2 weeks as well, with Rico Dowdle still being very productive.
Yeah.
T-Mac's doing great. Add 1 or 2 more big play receivers. I know they took Leggett in the first round, but he has had maybe 3 nice games all season. I mean, this Panthers team could be in a really good position here in a year or two.
Yeah.
And I do think they're going to win the division this year. They're going to go grab another division win here. Did they split with the Falcons, or did they beat them twice? I don't know why I'm struggling to remember that. I think they beat them twice. Blew them out like 20-something to 0 the first time, and then
blew them out.
And then it was a close game the second time around.
Blew them out 30-0 and then beat them 30-27.
And they beat the Saints, right?
Damn it! No, I just got.
Or did they lose to the Saints? Is that why they don't have? Why don't they have the tiebreaker?
Give me a second, Noah. No, yeah, they beat the Saints.
Sorry, I'm just trying to comprehend how the fuck they don't have the tiebreaker over Tampa.
Because they lost to Tampa.
They didn't play yet, did they?
And then they lost. In week 1, 23-20. And then they play them this week.
I thought they didn't play yet. I don't know. Maybe
they played week 1. Yeah, they played week 1.
No, they played the Jaguars week 1. Because they play them next week, and then they play them the final week of the season. And I'm just trying to figure out how Tampa Bay has a tiebreaker over Carolina.
No, what the fuck are you talking about? They played Falcons versus Buccaneers.
I'm talking about the fucking Panthers, not the Falcons.
Oh, what the fuck? I thought you were talking Falcons.
That's
why I was confused.
Let's see. ESPN says that Tampa Bay has the tiebreaker over Carolina based on best win percentage in common games, but I thought conference record took superiority over that. Maybe I'm tripping. Either way, doesn't matter. Carolina winning this damn division, and it's going to be with a 4th division win here. They're going to go 4-0 to start their division record on the season with another win over the Saints. 2.5 is too low of a spread. Carolina wins this one. Saints have been feisty, so I'm not going to say they win by a ton, but they're 6, 7, 8, 9 points, something like that. I'm going to say less than 10, but more than 5.
All right, we'll see what happens there. Let's keep it moving, Noah. Titans, 49ers. Niners, 12.5-point favorites at home. 44.5 is the total, minus 950 on the money line. 62% of the bet, 64% of the money coming in on the Niners, and everyone is betting on them. Money line, not this guy, Noah, not this guy. I like what the Titans have been putting together, and I understand the hype around the 49ers. However, outside of the Cardinals, I think they are the number 3 team by a distance here in the NFC West, and I think it's going to be proven here this weekend. I like what the Titans have been doing, and I think it's enough to keep them in.
That's a hot take.
I understand it's a hot take. I'm just telling you what the eye test telling me, what the numbers are telling me. I think they're, a distant 3 from the Seattle and Rams, but like what the Titans have been doing. I think that win last week is, just a nice little boost for them. They know they're in the shit right now, and they'll take any win there. And I think they come in and continue to play hard football and cover this 12.5. I don't think they win. I do think the 49ers squeeze another win out here, but I like the Titans plus 12.5.
Yeah, the spread's in a really tough spot. Oh, God. Yeah, my problem is I don't trust the Titans enough to cover 12.5, but I also don't trust San Francisco enough to cover 12.5. And so I'm like, for the love of God, why couldn't you put this number somewhere else? And granted, if this was at 8.5, I'd feel the same way, which is crazy.
Yeah, I get it.
I just could see this game going so many number of ways. Most of those resulting in a Niners win. Actually, almost all of them resulting in a Niners win. But with this line anywhere between 1 touchdown and 2 touchdowns, I don't know how the fuck to pick. Like, this is a tough game for me either way. Titans could hang around in this one. They might not. I might feel more inclined if it was at 7.5, 8.5, but I'm going to take the Niners to cover 12.5. I really don't like it, but I'm going to do it because somehow it's slightly more attractive to me than Tennessee plus 12.5.
I get it.
Absolutely fucking hate both sides of this because the Niners could win this game by 30. with what the Titans are. It could also be a 3-point loss for the Titans. There's just such a range on this one compared to every other game on this slate and every other game most weeks. God, this could go so many different ways, but whatever. We'll take Niners. We'll take McCaffrey just having a heyday against that Titans D.
I like it. No, next one, Colts, Seahawks. 13.5 point favorites. 42.5 is the total minus 1050 on the money line here. 55% of the bet, 73% of the money. Yeah, no one believes in Papa Phillips coming back out of retirement to sling the football, huh?
Grandpa Phillip,
Grandpa, Papa, whatever you want to call him.
I guess some people do call their Grandpa Papa. Some people
exactly.
Okay, yeah, no, sorry.
And Papa Phillips rolls off the tongue a little bit better, I think, than Grandpa Phillips. But anyway, what is that called? An alliteration, right? When there's multiple letters like in a row. Is that English?
Yeah, that's when you have multiple words that start with the same letter. That is alliteration. Good job, AJ.
I could probably pass a high school English test.
Maybe.
Anyway, it'd be a close one. These are passing, right? Anyway, I also don't trust Papa Phillips is going to come out and light it up. I think he'll be serviceable. I think he'll be able to hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor. I think he'll be able to get the ball to Tyler Warren. If he ends up playing, you know what I mean? We'll see what's happening. I think obviously Riley Leonard would be their, best case scenario to start this week if he is healthy enough.
Sounds like that's not the case. The news headlines, the buzz that I've been reading and hearing, AJ, is that the Colts would not have brought in Phillip Rivers if they were not intending for him to play. He knows this system. It hasn't changed since he last played there. A lot of the obviously facilities office still the same, and so I do think they're gonna just have Phillip Rivers have a go at it this week and see what happens.
Give me the Seahawks minus 13.5. Thank you very much.
I'm going to have some blind faith and take the Colts to cover 13.5 points. Not to win the game. They're not going to win the game. Like I said, they're going to lose the rest of their game. They're going to go from 8-3 to 8-9, miss the playoffs entirely. But Phillip Rivers, and I'm sure they probably don't have anything posted on the book right now. I'm checking right now on his over-under on pass yards. Like I said, I saw one place as soon as that news broke that had it at 137.5, and I'm like, I'd take the over on 137.
Take the over on that, yeah.
I think 44-year-old Rivers can throw for 138.
They have over half an interception at minus 155. Over 16.5 completions at minus 105 for Rivers.
I'd maybe take the completions number because if they're playing from behind, which they probably will be, if he's starting and playing the whole game, he should be throwing the ball 30 to 35 times at least. They're going to try to not have him throw that many times, but if they are playing from behind by more than one score, they're going to have to throw the ball. Probably a lot of checkdowns, a lot of short routes, which usually means better completion percentage. I love over 16.5 completions.
Could I interest you more into over 28.5 passing attempts at minus 105?
No, I kind of like the completions number better. I mean, I'd probably be on the over on both over 28 attempts and over 16.5 completions, considering the fact that I think that the Colts will be playing from behind in this one, and so they will be throwing the ball.
I get it.
And if Seattle gets up 2-3 touchdowns, their defense is going to get softer. It's going to be more prevent type defense. And so those short routes, screen passes, which is probably going to be a lot of what Indy's running, they're going to be open. I might take Jonathan Taylor over 5.5 receptions in this one because I think he's going to be the easy bailout option.
I could see it. Next one on the slate, Noah. Vikings, Cowboys. 5.5 point favorites here. 47.5 is the total. On Sunday Night Football, 65% of the bet, 75% of the money coming in on the Cowboys. And I got to agree on this one. I think this offense is going to be a little too high powered for the Vikings defense. And in reciprocal, I think this defense is going to be a little too much for 9 to handle this weekend. Give me Cowboys minus that 5.5 in Jerry World.
Oh, good. The Sunday night game that nobody asked for.
Yep.
Sunday night games are usually really great. Thursday night games usually ass.
This is a Thursday night game.
Monday nights, 50-50 sometimes up in the air. Usually the Monday night games, I would say 60% of the time they're not good games. 40% of the time they are. Sunday night's usually a really good game. Now, I know they scheduled these before the season started, and God, give me the fucking Vikings plus 5.5. Kind of disgusts me, but Dallas's pass defense is so bad that I think J.J. McCarthy has a decent game. Justin Jefferson, who has not had much of a season at all, I think has a decent game. Addison maybe also has a decent game. Hawkinson, all that gets going. Dallas's run defense has been really good since acquiring Quinnen Williams. I don't know that Aaron Jones or Jordan Mason really do a whole lot here, but I think the Vikings are going to have some success throwing the ball.
New quarterback?
5.5 is a big enough spread. I'm okay taking the Vikings on that.
You piss off your girl or something, and now she's making you take the Vikings? Is that what's happening?
Oh, hell no. It doesn't matter. Shit. No, this is my money I'm betting with.
Okay. Next game on the slate, Dolphins, Steelers. Monday Night Football, Steelers, 3-point favorites at home. 42.5 is the total. Minus 175 on the money line. Pretty even split here. 51% of the bets, 38% of the money coming in on the Steelers. So public money coming in on the Dolphins, but everyone and their mom betting Steelers money line here. This is a tough one, man. I think this is a tough one. On one hand, you have a Steelers team that's Mike Tomlin, and they are looking every bit of a Steelers team as they have in the past. Their defense is fine. Their offense is serviceable, but they're not going to do anything to wow you. Dolphins, on the other hand, they've kind of had a nice little resurgence here in the last back half of the season. Playing well, too, is finding some good receiving stuff, and he's not throwing the ball nearly as much. With that being,
because he hasn't looked a great win throwing the ball, but
exactly. With that being said, though, I do think the Steelers have enough weapons on defense to stop the run game and put the ball into Tua's hands and make him make decisions with the football, and that's not a good sign. Give me under 42.5 to start this one, and then I'll take the. I'm going to buy it down. Take Steelers minus 2.5. I think this does go. I think this will come down to a field goal, so I'll buy it down 0.5 point, take the 2.5, and call it a Monday.
Well, the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins. Hey, they've won 4 in a row. Yes, it's been against shitty teams. Guess what? Pittsburgh, also a shitty team. I think Dolphins are going to get 5 straight wins here. Get to 500. Get to 7-7 on the season for a team that you said wasn't going to win a single game, AJ.
20 degrees in 20-degree weather doesn't worry you?
No, because they've gotten smart. Mike McDaniel has gotten smart. He was on the hot seat, and then he's now on the warm seat. He's got, he's cooled the seat down just a tiny bit. I still think that's going to be a head coach that's being looked at in the offseason, but he might do enough to end the season. If they get around 500, I think he's coming back for another year. Somehow, when it looked like all signs were pointing to him getting fired early on in the season. Obviously, Achane, really special. Waddle, really special player. Defense has kind of not been phenomenal, but they've gotten better in the last few weeks. And, you look at their win streak, one of those is against Buffalo. Not that I'm saying Buffalo's a tremendous team, because they're kind of playing like a 500 team for the most part this season. But yeah, Miami's got 4 wins in a row. I think they get a 5th win straight, making them one of the hottest teams in the league right now. Yes, it's against shitty competition, but I think Miami takes care of business in Pittsburgh, gets a 5th straight win, and gets to 500.
All right.
Playoff hopes not completely dead, not mathematically eliminated. Do I think the Dolphins make the playoffs? Fuck no. But no. I do think they get to 500 and might be 2 games up on the Chiefs after this week.
Jesus. What a sentence. There. But sweet. That is every game in week 15. No, you got anything else in NFL before we call it a night?
No, that's what I got.
Sounds good. Well, no other news coming out right now with Sharon Moore, so we will keep an eye on that. But hey, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. But with all that being said, I'm the Brofict one, AJ. That's the Money Train, Noah. We'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.